Oh, hello. Today I'm gonna show you the power of the image sequencer. Yeah, this guy probably not. He's asleep. We're gonna get started. So today we will create and render a little animation here, which I already prepared as individual pictures. So each individual frame, which we have 100 of, will be rendered as a PNG image file like back in the old days, and then we're gonna use Blender again to put it together and render it again as a video file. And this is called image sequencer for the people who are new to Blender. And this is a very, very powerful and underestimated method. It's really, really cool. And I'm gonna show you how to make this happen and to play around with that a little bit. The advantages are really great. For example, the best thing is when you have a large scene, you can pause a render, meaning you are just having created a cool animation, it's very large, and you just started to render it, and then you realize you gotta go, and then you just stop you abort the render, and you have maybe rendered 360 frames slash pictures. You come back home, and then you continue from where you left off. So that's very, very powerful, very helpful. And later you can replace, yeah, I'm going to show it to you because it's going to be easier understood than explained. So first of all, very simple. You see this little animation here. First thing we want to do, we want to export this as a PNG sequence, as an image sequence. We can do this on the right side of our Blender interface. When we go over with our mouse to the output properties, then we can see under output again. So one output again, the path we can choose to create our to render our, in this case, our PNG files. So let's do that. And I have to see. So this is my desktop in Linux. I'm using Linux now. It's also new to me, but all the things work in Windows the same way. So don't be confused when it looks a little bit different to Windows. Okay, I'm gonna select my folder. In this folder is my a little animation, as you can see, the little cube animation saved. This is the folder, and here I create a new folder, and I call this folder PNGs. So this is gonna be my main PNG folder, and I give it a name. I recommend at this point to give it a short letter because Blender will add some numbers to each individual pictures, and then this will be confusing to you, not to Blender, but to you. So if you have a long name, then it's gonna be for you later a little bit harder, to. I just recommend that, but you don't have to follow those steps. So I just call it A, and let's press accept. So now our path is basically set up. Here will be the image files will be stored in here. And now let's go over to file format. I choose PNG because there's nothing wrong with it. PNG is totally fine when it comes, for example, to also use alpha channels. If you don't know what an alpha channel is, that doesn't really matter. Just know that this is, with the PNG, with this setup, you are covered, for your animations, especially when you're new to Blender. There are more geeky people. Yeah, there is maybe OpenEXR and stuff like this. What do I know about that? But yeah, this also exists. So whatever you can choose what you like. Just know that in certain with certain formats like JPEG, you cannot use alpha channels. Yeah. This is just if you want to have a transparent background. Okay. Anyway, so PNG is what we use today because everybody knows that. It's if everybody knows that, it's also easier to be understood, right? Okay, let's get started. Yeah, I think we are ready. We can already start rendering our little animation. And while this is rendering,
while Blender, let's jump into the folder. So because you can see what's happening in this folder, you can see all our images being created by Blender and stored in this folder. And when we hit 100 pictures, our animation is done. And if this is being done, we fire up a Blender again and open it in a different way. This guy is still asleep. I'm gonna let him sleep, and we are almost ready. So you can see already why I've maybe chosen. I mean, does this get bigger when I do that? Maybe, but the name's not. So this is the first picture is called A0001, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. This is how how it's stored, and that's the reason I gave it a simple short letter. It's helping me at least. Okay, so I think we are done. Our animation is being done. When we click on the first picture, a PNG file, we can open it, and then I'm gonna just go through my view program for my picture view program. You can see the video already works in a way. So now we have the sequence here right now. This is a whole sequence. We wanna convert that into a video file. And we can use Blender again, and it's a powerful video editor too. It's really getting better and better with video editing. This is really, really, really cool. So if you use Adobe Premiere for your, I don't know, for your YouTube Let's Plays, well, that's a waste of money. Anyway, fire up Blender again, and this time we're gonna choose video editing. You can choose this here when you're just video editing. This will help to, if you choose video editing, Blender will set up the whole interface for you so that we can happily edit our videos. So this is our timeline, our video timeline, right? And we can drag this video a little bit bigger, than we see the time here, like in the video editor, and down below we see the frames. So 40 frames are almost 1 second, a little bit more even, right? So what is 1 second? Does it really matter? Do I have to do this? Probably not. No, I started doing it. 20. Makes sense, right? So we learned something. So 24 FPS. Now I get this too. Yeah, makes sense, right? Is 1 second. Does this make sense? Oh boy. Okay, anyway. I got excited because I just realized it myself. Anyway, so we have this set up. That's great. Now we need our image sequence, right? So let's go ahead and choose our image sequence, meaning the render we just did. Let's go over to Add and then say image sequence or image/sequence. And we go to desktop, and then I go to the path where I save the PNG files, and I press A. And now, careful, technically we are not completely done, because if I edit like that, there should be some shuddering and stuttering be in the video. Don't be surprised. And maybe it would be also vice versa playing. You will see what I mean in a second. I do it this way so you see what happens when I do it maybe wrong. Maybe this is the right way. I'm also a little bit of a tweaking guy. I'm not an expert on those things. However, let's play the animation. And you see it starts vice versa, and it's not smooth at all. So one thing, just in case you still have this to swap or to reverse the frames, here's the option to do that. That's one option. You can select your image sequence, and then you press reverse frames. That would fix the reverse stuff. However, we have to, and I do not know why. You can maybe leave this in the comments, explain that if you wish so. We add the image sequence again. So add image sequence, and I'm hitting, selecting everything by pressing A. And this time I use placeholders. So by default, so now two things have happened. If we play the animation, it's smooth now, and also it starts from the beginning in the right way. So it's not reversed. What I mean. And it maybe has to do something with the settings here, but those are the settings. We didn't even choose placeholder. Placeholder here, this one is also for something else, which I'm gonna talk about this later. Okay, just keep that in mind. So we have here a little image sequence, right? So that's great. I'm gonna show you first how to export that as a movie, as a clip. Yeah, as a video. I forgot the word video. So select your image sequence. First we have to adjust that. You see the timeline of the video editor is bigger than our image sequence. One way, easy noob way to fix that is just by changing the end frames here. I know the end frames being 100 frames, that's easy in this case, but sometimes you have like a weird number. There isn't a better way to do that. You select this sequence, then you go over to view, and then you go over to range and set frame range to strip. If you do that, the video editor will adjust to the strip/image sequence here. And that works now fine, right? So that's cool. Now I'm going to show you what we can do, what the power of the image image sequencer can be. So first of all, I'm going to save this here to not lose that. I'm going to call this video for you, baby. So that's what I call it, and I'm going to leave it open this time, and I'm going to show you what is the point of that. So let's say you have a larger scene. This is just an example, okay? You wouldn't do this normally. There are better ways to deal with that in Blender. But let's just say, we have it took us forever for just assume this would, rendering 100 pictures would take, I don't know, 10 hours. And then you realize, oh, actually, in between frame 40 and 60, I wanted the cube to be red. So, and now you would, change the color here, and then you would, re-render the whole scene. That's not necessary. All we have to do is basically say, okay, we're gonna start at frame 40, and we're gonna end at frame 60. We change the color here to green. This is an example. This is not the way you would do it in Blender, but as an example. And we will render it again. And here, image sequencer override is on. So this one is still open. I'm not closing it for now, but I have to reopen it in a second or refresh it. Let's render this again. Only that this time it's green. It shouldn't take too long. It's only like 20 pictures. And if it takes too long, then, well, send me some money, or no better, give me a great PC, like an awesome PC. I'm not kidding. I need one. I want to have one. I want to have one. So this is being done, and now let's reopen right now nothing has changed. We just have to refresh that. The easiest way to do this is just to reopen the same file. So the video file, where's my video for you? Open, and now you see, basically, you replaced only a part of your render animation is replaced, and you can already see, okay, this is pretty powerful. I'm going to show you the method I use for that, which is a little bit, it takes longer, but it's safer if you want to make sure that you do not overwrite, or even if you overwrite it, you can still access your PNG files. That is crucial when you have a larger scene where the render time really takes much longer. Then you want to back up a little bit. So the way I do that is basically I create, when I want to replace stuff, I create basically a new folder and call it replace PNG. This is just naming it for myself, So, and then this folder, I make a zip file. So with Linux, you can do this in a different way, but basically what I do is just creating a zip file. That's all I do, just to have a backup PNG, So all my PNGs are backed up here. So if something goes wrong, if I overwrite something which I didn't want to do, then So, and then this is a safer way to do, also slower and more controlling. So now I would say, okay, I want the cube to be at frame 6, starting with frame 60, to the end, whatever. Yeah, to the end is good. No, I think it's more funny when like so, to 90. During this period, I want the cube to be a ball. So I'm gonna use click the cube, and then I press Control 3 for subdivision. And be aware, especially when you're new to Blender, if you use subdivision, check if the render value, in this case 2, is equal to the viewport render value. Because if they are not, there's a difference between the final render and what you see in the viewport, and it drives you crazy. I do not know why Blender handles it like that, but that's something which always was weird to me when I started out with Blender. Anyway, just a side note. Okay, so we have here, this would be the part we want to replace. And the safer way to do is now we're going to change the path, and we say we choose the replace PNG files, and in this case we'll leave the same name because eventually we want to replace it. So it has to be the same name. It's easier to do it in this way. Okay, accept, and then we render that. So, and this method, yeah, it's longer, but again, this is not the rendering is not longer, but the method is a little bit longer, but safer. Really, if you don't wanna, or at least do the backup. When you have like a large scene, a lot of PNG files. Yeah, and then you probably guess what we're gonna do is we have to, in this case, close the programs, because if I wanna copy and replace the PNG files, Linux complains cannot do it, so I have to close those things. So now we have here our replacement parts, and I'm gonna just copy them and then go into our main folder and Control V. I just say please replace all of those guys. In Windows there is a similar way to do the same thing. Replace them. They are replaced. Now we can reopen our video for you. Video for you could be a song actually. And now we can play the animation again. You can see, oh, now it's this thing. You gotta be aware a little bit. While this method is great, and now after that explanation, we're gonna do something really, really cool, and then you can see why this is such a great thing. I'm getting so excited just talking about it. I forgot what I wanted to say. But anyway, let's just say you can see why this method is just it's excellent. I lost really. I don't. Anyway. Yeah, I lost it. Anyway, so let's go over to. Did I show this to you anyways? No. Okay, let's handle this one. Let's say you are satisfied with this PNG sequence animation, and we want to create now the final product. Then you would go over to the right side. One thing you should make sure that, it's not always necessary, but in this case it's very helpful. Make sure that the PNG sequence has the same resolution as in here. But in this case they have both the same resolution, so it doesn't really matter. But just be aware of this. Okay, to make this to a video, when you start Blender and you choose video editing, Blender already sets up for you everything for video output. That's also great. So if you go to where is it here, output, and scrolling down, we have to choose the output path again. I would say we're gonna choose where am I? In temp. We're gonna choose desktop again, and now I'm gonna just call this like so, and say accept. And that would be it. If you want to add some sound effects too, then yeah, ACCC is also already ready to go. So everything is set up for you for video sequencer. So, and then you would just say over, when you're satisfied with everything, you go over to render and say render animation, which is technically this time rendering the video itself or the PNG files. Or Blender is still right, it's just being better understood. So let's go to the desktop and check out our video again. Boop, boop. Okay, so that's fun. This is basically covered it. But now we're gonna do some more cool stuff. This is gonna be more advanced, so if you are new to Blender, you can still try to understand, but this may be it gets more and more complicated because when you, I don't know what I mean. Anyway, so let's get to that. Let me open that again. How do I do this here? Image sequencer, this guy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What else we can do, which is really cool. This time we do not want to replace stuff. We want to add an overlay as a PNG sequence, but having the same camera perspective. In this case, the camera perspective is very lame. Nothing being to be excited. But if you have a larger scene, you could use the same camera setup and then add some stuff to your scene. You know, like an overlay. You could, yeah, whatever you want to add, you know, the ideas. Let's just do it so that you understand what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna save this as a second. This is wrong. YouTube. Here we go. I can write a little bit. Scene B. Here we go. Is this the right thing? Desktop, yeah. I gotta check. Okay. So saving it here, and now we're gonna delete everything which we, you know, what we wanna do now, we wanna create the overlay. Like I said, for creating an overlay, we need to have no background. So we have to turn off the background for the PNG files. And this is where PNG files, choosing PNG is very important. If you choose PNG also with a transparent background, make sure the RGBA is selected, not this one, but this one. By default, it is selected. I'm just saying it. And also, yeah, this comes with the alpha channel. Okay, so we need to disable the background in this scene. So for that, we have to go to render properties, go down to film, and hit and check the transparent. So now, when we go here, you can see the difference. So that means that the background is not being rendered. Okay, so that's great. Let's add some spinning cubes to our little animation in a nice way. So we're gonna press Shift A, and then I'm gonna just grab a cube like this guy here and make a very simple animation here. I'm gonna hit N, and then yeah, here we have rotation. I press I for insert a keyframe, and then press 360 degree. Now we have one spinning. Maybe we can make it nicer looking. Maybe just. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Let's go. Okay. So one spinning cube is great. Another one is here, and I'm gonna just duplicate those guys here a little bit. Maybe I can rotate. Oh, I see. Let's do this again. I just want to make it a little bit more fancy. So one is small, one is big, and one is here. So here's a new scene, but we need to start from the beginning. We want to have 100 frames, and I have to fix for that this one here. Oh yeah, that looks already better. Only this guy doesn't do anything. Hey, you gotta do something. Come on, don't be like a lazy cube here. You gotta do here. Okay, so now we have this one, and this time we have to change the path again. So let's go over to output, and we select a new path. We create a new folder. This time we're gonna say PNGs, and we call this overlay. And I'm gonna go into this folder, and this time we can name it differently because it's gonna be something different. It's not replacing anything, it's adding to it. So I would say we're gonna just give it B, you know. Whatever, you can do it differently, but I'm calling it B, will be our overlay. And now we are already we're good to go. We can just render this one here. That shouldn't take too long. Again, if you are complaining why it's taking so long, I want to have the new fancy stuff. Why not? Why not? I deserve one. I work a lot with that. So it doesn't take too long. While this is rendering, we prepare our other scene already, and we can close this one because one of the great things with this with Blender, meanwhile, join left, join right, join left, right. Yes, I did the right thing. So what we can do is we can just drag and drop things. That's great actually. So let's go to Blender, texture, and this is not organized, but we find everything in here. So let's make it smaller. We need obviously, yeah, this guy. Why not this guy? So you can see this one. You can just add to this if you want. I'm gonna do something with that later to show something cool what you can do quickly only. Okay, I think we are done. So now let's, sorry, I'm gonna delete this because I don't want to confuse you. So what we do now, we have our little animation here. We want to add the spinning cubes to this animation. Let's do that. So let's do this again. Let's say add and image sequence. And now we go to, where do we go? Where's my stuff now? Desktop, power here, overlay. Press A again. We say use placeholder like before. And what this is doing exactly, I don't know, but it's, it just runs smoother, and it should be on the same position. So now you see, we just added a little overlay. It would look even better if we would have used a shadow catcher, so that the cubes would actually have a shadow. That would be even more believable. But this is an interesting thing, right? And if you play around with this method, you will get your own ideas for what can I do with that? Maybe you can add some special effects to your scene like that, creating your special effects separately, and then adding that to it. Yeah, but just saying those things are possible. And now let's go just briefly, not too long. I don't want to stretch this video too long. I'm gonna add this guy. I'm gonna show you what you can do. For example, you have how easy it gets really good meanwhile. So this is our PNG. You can see I can just drag and drop my PNG files, and you know what, I'm gonna make it like the whole. So now this guy is gonna be displayed through the whole video. And what you can do, I discovered today actually. Usually back then, a while ago, I always used always this, no, not crop nonsense. I used where's the transformation here? So to make those things move, but you can just hover with your mouse in this window here and press G and then moving this guy around. I know that, I use Blender for editing, but I haven't done really much editing. Usually I record with OBS, and then I just hit the pause button. This is my cutting way, so I don't have to do it so often, and that's why this method might be already a while available. I just today I realized that this is also a thing. You can hover with your mouse in this window here, press G, and move this guy, drag this guy along, or S, make it bigger or smaller. Very natural, very, very cool. And when you let's click on this guy here, auto keying, this records every key movement we make at the frame we are. So currently we're at frame 27. Now let's press G, and let's just put them here, and we created a frame. Let's go to frame 1, and let's just press G and put them here, S, making it smaller, and let's just play now. You see how easily how fast and easily this goes. And now S, make it bigger again, and to the right. And it's recording every step. I don't have to add those keyframes. I'm so happy about this thing. It's so cool. It's so cool that I actually want to do now, add things, although I don't have anything to add, to be honest, right now. So anyway, I'm just showing you this because, the reason why this video exists is I'm working on my car animation, and I use this PNG file method for, good that I talk about this. The advantages of those PNG file methods is really, sometimes you have just, a little texture, like imagine you have a large scene, it's 6,000, just imagine 6,000 frames long, and in between frame 500 and 600 you realize there is a shelf in the background which doesn't have the right texture. Now all you have to do is just only render the part between 500 and 600 instead of the whole scene, replacing the PNG files or whatever you use. You don't have to use PNG, and then you save a lot of render time, right? It's very convenient, and also it looks nice to the eye to see to look at your animation in this image quality. It's very cool. And then you can even do stuff like this. So that's a huge advantage. Yeah, then pausing again is great that you can do that. Replacing is great that you can do it. That's the major things. Or if your PC just crashes and you have to restart, you just continue where you left off. Also very cool. And then technically, if you could even set up a quick local network shared, a quick what do you say? A lazy, quick, no, a simple render farm if you want. So what you could do is, if you have two computers, you could, let's just open the other file again, this one for example. So you see here's an option placeholder. I did this a while ago, I think when I experimented 2 years or something ago. I don't remember quite well. So I believe what it still stands for is, if you, for example, have two computers, and they render, and you set it up so that you have one shared folder in your local network, and you set it up so that both computer running Blender will render images into the shared folder, so they have one folder together, then you could select placeholder. That would mean that if one computer renders picture 62, the other one will recognize that and jump immediately to picture 63. And so that would be, and you would also maybe disable override. That would be a simple render farm, like a render farm for poor people like me. So I personally don't do that. I sometimes maybe a little bit, but not in a local network. But yeah, you can also just it's easier to just let one computer render one part of the video and the other one the other part. That's just easier, I think. To me, it's not really, doesn't make sense to me right now, but that's just something you can consider. And if you like playing around with those options, you can actually set it up so you have like 5 computers doing the same thing, right? Can be funny and interesting to do that. So this is just another method of dealing with that. Okay, now the video is a little bit longer. I tried to make it short. I actually recorded one and I thought this was not well explained. I got a little bit confused at the beginning. I hope this wasn't too confusing. You can let me know if this is confusing to you, or what. I have nothing against criticism when it's being constructive. I mean, I don't like to see that. I only want to hear, hey, great job. That's only I don't want to hear anything, yeah, but you could do this. But it's helpful. I will read that. I will not respond though, because right now I think that's better for me. So, but I'm gonna read that, and it's gonna be appreciated in some way. Okay, that's about it. I hope this is interesting for you, and have a good day. Yeah, I hope I covered everything. Yeah, bye bye.